Welcome everybody. My name is Eshwar Nagaraj SV. So I am pursuing first year of BSc Agricultural Science from University of Agriculture Sciences Bangalore with the College of Sericulture Chintamani. So we are having our guest Mr. Nithish. So he is going to explain about his success stories in agricultural extension, about the dragon fruit, how he was pursuing the agriculture before, the crops before and now. So welcome to our show, sir.
Thank you, Eshwar. Thank you for having me here. I give a warm welcome to everyone who will be watching this video, and we'll also be discussing a lot of inputs today about the transition of the agriculture in the industry that is happening right now. So I am currently growing dragon fruit. So we will be discussing a little more in detail about these things today, and also like Eshwar said, how agriculture used to happen earlier and what can be changed or what new things can be implemented now.
So why did you start this dragon fruit farming, sir?
It's a very interesting question. I think quite some years back I also did see some videos based out of internet, and also tried to research what are the exotic fruits that are available in the market right now, or for the future market, which will be there for a longer duration. So during my research is something that I figured out on very interesting plantation or a super fruit like dragon fruit, or the mangosteen, queen of fruits, to lot many other fruits that are there in the market. But something that really grabbed my attention, Eshwar, is dragon fruit for the qualities it has, and how it is benefiting an average farmer to an any updated farmer also. So the process are all simple, and that's something that we will discuss down the lane in the video.
Sir, how much acres have you planted the dragon fruit?
See, currently right now we are standing in a plot which is of 2 acres and roughly about 2 acres. But in an acre we would have about say about 400 to 450 poles. So currently what the plantation that I have chose is to do it in 1 acre, a little lesser than 1 acre, but the spacing that I've given, how I've set up the farm looks a little humongous. This is roughly about an acre, to answer your question, Eshwar.
So how did you get to know about the dragon fruit initially?
Like I said, I did a lot of research in the past. I have been watching a lot of videos, and not just me, but there are a lot of other farmers also who have started dragon fruit cultivation 2-3 years ago. It's a live example that we see that how many people are benefited from this particular plantation, and what is the growth projection it has, what kind of growth metrics it will have in the coming future. Something that these are the things that really amused me to go ahead and look for this kind of plantation.
What's your next plan for the future? Will you develop the dragon fruit? How will you take dragon fruit to a greater level, sir?
Yes, this is again an interesting question that I would like to answer. The growth projection time of dragon fruit right now, this is the stage it is in. It's been exactly a month since I've planted, and these are the new leaves that has popped up. You see any of my plant in the farm right now, the only reason is roots are set, and for this to grow from this stage to reach the top of the pole here, it would roughly take about it can take 6 months also at time, or it can also take 8 months. Like I said, this is a plant that thrives on the fertilizer that we produce. For example, right now at this stage, I would suggest a lot of urea is required to promote the growth of dragon fruit plants. So where do you get this urea? If you're looking at organic practices, I think poultry manure is one of the best available options, where the manure itself has a lot of urea content in it. So for it to grow, it will take about 6 to 8 months time, and you can definitely expect an early harvest depending on what kind of manure you are using. So at the time of fruiting is something that I would suggest people to use cow dung manure, which has a lot of potash in it. Basically, potash enhances the size and the growth of the fruit, basically. That's one. I'm looking at definitely I'm looking at growing a lot of fruits in the near future. That's one of the long-term plan. And also the long-term plan is that not just few farmers around who are providing saplings, they cannot suffice or give supply of plants to almost every farmer in India, or cover immediately. Let's talk about Karnataka for an instance. So having saplings, preparing a nursery is another plan of action that I have in mind. So these are the developmental plans that I am looking at focusing in the near future, Eshwar.
What's the difference between normal agriculture and dragon fruit agriculture, sir?
So this question itself has its own answers. For the 240 poles that I've planted, I've installed right now, I hardly would require say maybe 1 or 2 labors at a time. I did tomato plantation earlier here. It was all around a different ball game, and every day I had to bring in 10 labors. The cost of labor itself mounts up a lot if you are looking for alternate vegetables. So I would not possibly put a pause for having different agriculture practices. You should definitely have it, but along with that there is also a scope of innovation that can come in place, which will probably reduce the manpower cost, and probably use of more of mechanical instruments or equipments, which will reduce this burden. Yes.
To start the dragon fruit farming initially, so what should we get to know, what information is necessary? Actually dragon fruit grows in all types of soil. There are sayings, and I've heard from people that they've grown it in an hilly region also, which has a lot of rock mix soil also. So it can be generally grown in any kind of soil, not a particular soil. For example, mine is a clay soil. Once I water it, it will easily take about 5 days. This dampness will remain. Like you see the dampness here, so this will remain for next 5 days. It is the quality of this particular soil. So according to the soil, you need to take or make calculations. You don't have to water it very frequently. This is a crop which kind of expects very less water, and especially during summer it asks for very less water, because watering at times also creates to different issues that can come in, the root rot, or it can also trigger fungus. So keeping that in mind, you should understand your soil potential, how it is, what kind of water management that you should practice, what is the fertilizer that you are using, are you going for organic practices or are you going for inorganic practices. These are the things that you need to focus on before plantation. Definitely it should have a good pH level of 6 and above, which is a very moderate condition for dragon fruit plants to grow. So since this fall under cactus family, it actually doesn't require a lot of attention. This is definitely an blessing for the farming industry right now, Eshwar. Yeah. So this, I think I covered up quite a few of what are the things to do, the soil required. Yes, answering your question. What's the lifespan and the harvest time for this particular plant?
See, I've heard that their lifespan is, roughly it comes up to 20 plus years to 25 years. It purely depends on how you manage your plant. And
How did you take it as a challenge to grow dragon fruit? Did anybody scare you that any capital loss will happen and all, sir?
Yes, that's a good question. I mean, I did counter a few people who've shared in their random thoughts, telling that why would you want to do dragon fruit? There are already so many people doing it. But answering this question, this is a country with a population of more than 138 crore people, and roughly about 3 to 5% of farmers are growing dragon fruit currently. That creates a big venue and also a greater window of opportunity for most of the farmers. And I would like to make this statement that even next 5-10 years also the rates will not drop in drastically. In the market right now, apples are there since ages. Don't you see that apples are still sold at 70-80 rupees to 100 rupees depending on the size, quality and its attributes. Dragon fruit is a super fruit which has benefited for a lot of people in terms of the antioxidant to high in vitamin C to its anti-aging benefits for the skin. A lot of beauty industry is also using supplements of dragon fruit to produce products for them. Also processing industries like making juice or jam, or to making dry chips of dragon fruit. These are all new things that are started up in the market. So considering all these factors, I don't see a downfall trajectory anytime sooner or later, beyond 15-20 years or so. Even by then the rate falls down to 50 to 60 to 70 rupees also. It's still a game on for farmers as to how they can make their money. To be more precise, to recover an investment or the capital for 1 acre, it would not take more than 3 years of time for the value and for the market it is right now. Like you still see a retail shop is still selling dragon fruit at between 150 to 250 to 300 rupees also. So it depends on how you market, how well your output is. The rates will be accordingly. But right now it's a very nascent fruit to the Indian industry, and this is something that has a lot of value in the near future. People have scared me a little bit, but this is the straight answer that I can give to them, considering all the facts and details that are in place, and the researchers. Also the agriculture university also started off their production on it. There is Dr. Karuna Karan, who is again taken a lead on dragon fruit cultivation. Of course he is one of the mentor for most of the people for the initial work that these people have done. That's about it. Answering your question, even if people try to scare you, you should have these answers straight in your mind, that you can definitely surpass all the odds and make some good profit. No other fruit in the market right now has so much value, Eshwar. I'm sure this will not drop down anytime sooner.
Sir, I hope all your wishes comes true in this point of prize and all, and your hard work may give you the best wishes and best things in the further days. And one more question for many of the young people, like what's your say on the export for your fruits of dragon fruit?
See, export is something, this is a very valid question. Thank you for asking it. I was waiting when you would ask this question. Export is a very humongous chapter right now to discuss about. But this is where a farmer requires support from the government, a state government or central government should take this lead, because when there is surplus production happening in your own country, and when there is opportunity of exporting it to different countries, and recognizing your motherland's fruits is a unique experience altogether. So not all farmers currently exactly have that exposure, or neither they have that knowledge to go ahead and work on the export plan right away. But this is something that the help that is required from central or a state government, or probably the agriculture university, should take this initiative where they help educate and implement the process of export, which will help farmers.
Yes, sir, and one more thing, and what's your view on agriculture universities and the government of Karnataka? Are there any subsidies or any help given by them for this unique plant, as it's a new generation plant, and many of them are not yet knowing about this, not yet having proper information. So what do you say about that, sir?
Yes, see, government again, in a way or the other way, they've always been helping us. But right now, if you see for dragon fruit, I don't see a large scale subsidy that has been rolled out yet. Since you see for an acre, roughly investment comes up to 5 lakh. I personally request government to go ahead and help farmers to benefit them with the subsidy, because this is definitely a success crop and future crop of India also. So I mean, at this kind of platform is when after all the research and the developments that are happening for dragon fruit, and while people are successfully growing it, are able to get high yield, quality yield, the size of fruit is more. When all these attributes are matching, we definitely need support from government to enhance the growers by helping them with subsidies. I would also like to thank government for providing subsidies on drip lines, on for agriculture ponds that we have made so far, but extended help to set up infrastructure cost is something that most of the people think about it and they try to walk back. This shouldn't happen. I wish every farmer in Karnataka and in India develops. I want every individual farmer to develop, and this can only be done with collective effort. And this collective effort comes in place while government starts taking up serious actions, because food is something that makes us live. Food is something that makes us live on a long run, and growing right kind of food and the having right kind of balance in the industry is something which is more required. Yes, Eshwar, I think I've answered your question on that.
Yeah. Sir, thank you for giving me this plant. If this plant comes, what should we do?
Okay. So basically, like you see, the diameter of the plant, roughly it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 inches and above. So this is, earlier if you see, there is a cut here, which means there is a fruit that has been harvested by this particular stem. And always while you do a nursery, it is important to identify stems like this. While you also see, I just pulled it out from the soil. Basically this was there in the soil as a backup plant for me. So when I get plants from a nursery, I only select good stems like this. So we just cover and keep the stems without putting it to soil. Just leave it like that for a month or so. Once you do that, aerial roots will develop at the end of the plant. Okay. So once aerial roots have developed, what you do is you just bring it to the to the plot here. And what in general farmers do is they dig completely. They dig, then they keep the plant inside and then they cover it. That's not the way to do it. All that you have to do is bring the plant, keep it here, tie it, put the soil later on it. So you don't have to dig it and bury it and keep this plant inside. That will in general destroy your tender roots that is there, and it will, once the roots are destroyed here, the top naturally gets rotten and it cuts out. Okay, so it is important again to have right management or right practices of plantation. Not many people who in the market are giving right plants also at time. It is very important, like I said, I see that there's an fruit that has been harvested in this particular stem. So while this process of plant is growing on top, you will definitely have these kind of new shoots that keeps coming out in between. So people are making a nursery out of those new shoots also. But what happens is, in this new shoots, when you plant it, yes, plant will still grow, but for it to fruit on a large scale, it will take more than 2 or 3 years, which is definitely a waste of time on a, in an emergency situation, like well, there is demand for product when you don't have your product coming on time, so it is just loss of time, right? So that's where you need to enhance yourself. Always make sure a good fat stem which is aged mother plant, which is roughly age of 3 years old, is cut, and you make plant out of it. Definitely it will give you good yield. The same quality of mother plant will be inherited in this plant also. So this is the only way you can plant it.
Sir, is it rooting powder is necessary, as we can see here or here? Is it necessary, the rooting powder?
See, there is something called ARCA Microbial Consortium, which is readily available at the agriculture universities. That's one of the best root growth promoter as well as growth promoter of plant. You can use that. I mean, it's definitely organic. Again, I prefer doing it in organic way, and that will definitely enhance. But if not, this is a terrible plant, Eshwar, if I have to tell you. It has massive and rapid growth. It can survive in almost all kind of conditions. Maximum beyond 45 degrees is something, it is a little tricky to grow it. And when the temperature drops to minus also, that's a concern again. So currently, if I have to tell you, Bangalore or the Karnataka temperature is apt for growing dragon fruit.
Sir, and if we see here, many of the weeds have been grown. So, like, how can we prevent those weeds and all? Should we use any 24 hours chemicals such as paraquat dichloride or just glyphosate? As if you use that, it may harm the plants. So, what's your view on it?
See, in general, what I basically do is, whenever I come to farm, and I definitely have to run around, like, every pole. I have to walk to pole by pole. So while I'm walking, I manually pull it out. I manually pull out and clean it. So it's not a big task. Like, even if you have a labor, it will not take more time. So that's when it's very important to avoid a lot of weed. It is necessary to have water outlets only at the poles. So it is not required that the entire line should also have water source, because that is again it will trigger weed growth, unnecessary growth. So like, if you see here again, if you see here again, water is falling only at this region, and that's the reason only here the weed plants are grown. So whenever I'm here, I make sure that I invest a few seconds by removing it out and just throwing it around, which again turns into manure in my own farm. So this is what I do. I try and avoid as much as possible to use chemical fertilizers in my farm, Eshwar.
Sir, that's a very good chance to take the weed outside by your hand only, and you have a very innovative idea because you are taking the weed plants and converting the same thing into the manure, and many of them throw it or bury it simply, or they just sell it. So that's I don't think so that's very correct for a plant to be done. So it's a very good idea, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Eshwar. Thank you so much. And I would also inform that in my particular plot, it has been more than 2-3 years since I've used any kind of chemical fertilizer to abolish weed. Always it is suggestible that farmers use mini tractors in their farms, which is more efficient, like in terms of getting work done. I understand having a bigger tractor, you can save in a little money, or probably the work gets work finishes very soon. But ideally I would suggest smaller tractors is something which is more suggestible within plantation like dragon fruit. Yes.
Sir, how much laborers do you use for your farm?
See, right now, if you ask me, I've only used manpower during installation of these stone pillars, and also during plantation of these saplings. So for plantation of saplings, I had roughly about 6 men who had come in from a nearby village, and also 8 men for installation of the stone pillars. That's it. So after which it's been 1 month since I had almost zero manpower involved here. So like I said, weed management is something which I do by myself, while I walk and try and evaluate my plants, which by need and necessity I walk up to every pillar. So that gives me an opportunity to clear as much as weed possible. And I think just for the spraying purpose of kaolin, at sometimes I might need just one person, also during application of manure I might need 2-3 people. So ongoing labor cost for dragon fruit, I see it's on a very less scale. Also tying up the secondary leaves which are coming to the pillar is something that we need labor for. Yeah. After a period of time, and sunburn is something that is more critical. It is affected by fruit flies, the flower, and it tries and lays the eggs at the edge of the fruit. So as the fruit is growing, there is a possibility of infestation of these and ants again. If you see, if you can just see here, these are the new leaves. This is the new growth of leaf. These tender leaves has some kind of sweet secretion that comes out, or when generally ants are attracted to this part of the leaf. They try to eat it because it's kind of sweet and all that. So that is one thing that you need to look for. But I would tell you, organic practices is something that I prefer. So spraying of neem, neem oil at times is very important. And also for all these diseases that I mentioned, there is one universal solution for all these infestations that I mentioned is kaolin. Basically, kaolin is something which is readily available in Bangalore market, or it can be delivered to any other locations also. Maybe end of the video I'd like to share this person's contact details. Kaolin in generally it by itself has a lot of calcium content in it, so it avoids once you spray, you take about 30 grams or 40 grams for 1 liter of water. So that is a very good dilution that you see that will happen. So once you spray on the plant, initially it will look wet, but once it dries up, it completely turns plant into white color. If you want to know what kaolin is exactly, kaolin is the powder that is used to put rangoli in front of your house. The more finer version of it is something that we use for dragon fruit plantation. So once it turns completely white in color, it avoids sunburn, it avoids rust, it avoids fungus also, and it avoids ants as well. So it's an amazing thing, something which is readily available and we hardly knew about it.
Sir, I can see a nice agriculture pond or a Krishi Vunda called in the local language of our Karnataka state, Kannada. So can you tell the views about this agriculture pond?
Okay, see, generally I located this particular plot of my land because see, from the top place also, it is at the peak monsoon, I do have water coming in, gushing in down here. So I'm planning to make a channel there, fix a pipe where the excess water can be collected here. And also if you can just focus also if you can just focus the pond there, I have dug a trench all the way till the transformer there. There is a borewell point there. So this water, when it recharges, when it overfills, it naturally flows in that trench there, and it falls into the recharge pit there, and it will definitely recharge that borewell also, which is an option for me. So to talking about this particular pond, I can tell you that we've dug about 12-13 feet in depth, and the length is about 80 to 90 feet one side, and the other side it is 60 feet. So we've elevated the size of the pond from the ground level to approximately like 3 feet, and this is an good GSM sheet that is available in the market, which I've bought in, and I have set it up. So like you can see on the other side, so like you can focus on the water there. So like you can see, focus on the water there. That is the borewell water which is falling into my storage area at the moment. I have about 2.5 inch of water, which is sufficient water for 2 acres plot that we have right now here. So also the other side, corner of the plot, the tank, there is I have put in a 3 HP submersible motor, which will pull up all this water, go through the venture system, and get into the pipelines. So this is a system that we have done here. Just in case my borewell collapses also in the near future, I always have an opportunity where I can bring in water canters and fill up this particular pond and use it for the agriculture purpose. So right now dragon fruit requires very less water, and this is apt and enough water resource that I have.
Sir, is there any government subsidy or any other government help given to you while constructing this Krishunda or this pond?
Of course. Thank you for asking that. Currently I have applied for a subsidy. I'm not too sure of the numbers though, but there was an inspection which happened recently. So before the plan, the implementation of this particular plant, it will be assessed, and it will be told which is the apt place to dig up a agriculture pond. While like I said, the excess water from the lake channels also reach this particular place. So yes, there is subsidy, and I have currently applied on it. It is in the process of inspection, which is already done. So maybe in our next video, while I have more information about the detailed number facts, I will definitely let you know. So answering your question, yes, I have applied for subsidy.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for telling us the information about the subsidy which has been given by the government of Karnataka, the agriculture department. So minor and major agriculture water department. So many of the farmers in our constituency or any other place, they do not know much well about the subsidy. They just do it and they just live it. So thank you for sharing us the information about this. Sir, on behalf of my university and on behalf of my campus, so I thank you very much, and so thank you for sparing your own long time with us, as many people want to be educated about this new innovation of dragon fruit. And I thank Dr. K. Jagadesshwara, the former director of extension, for his all inspiration, and our course teacher Dr. M.V. Srinivas Reddy sir for all his topics for our upcoming seminars and all, and we thank our camera persons and our friends and my neighbor Dhanush Badri and his Dhanush's brother Tashur sir. Yeah.
Also adding on, I would definitely thank Karnakaran sir, Manjunath sir, from the plant protection KVK Arovalli for being a back support during the hard times that I've had so far. Karnakaran sir is also an amazing person. So he's also visited many countries, officially, and he's kind of promoting dragon fruit in India. And I'm extremely happy and pleased to have got a lot of inputs from developing farmers like Srinivas Reddy from Yelanka, and Mr. Srinivas from Telangana, to quite a notified farmers who have actively been working on the development of dragon fruit, educating people how to grow about it. A big thanks to Dr. Jagadesshwara also, sir, like you said, because he's also been an inspiration for us, for supporting and growing new crops, introducing me to a lot of his very own students. That's how I know Manjunath sir, who's into plant protection, to Sadashiva sir, who has developed Arka Rakshak plantation. So there are a lot of wonderful resources that our country and state has. It is just that we need a little more extended support in implementing things on a larger scale. I hope this video helps a lot. We will surely be coming back with more such updates. My at the moment, like you see, my plantation is just 1 month old, and I see some good growth. Almost all plants in my particular farm has a new leaf that is growing right now, so that's a clear indication that roots have set. And we will be shooting a more of frequent videos in Kannada also, so that's an important thing. And thank you again, Eshwar, for having me here. Yes, Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka.
Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka. Mate, on behalf of my university and my campus, I thank you very much, sir, once again. Sir, thank you.
Thank you, Eshwar.
Yeah, thank you.